Prepaid wireless, like holiday gifts, should never be just okay. Like getting monogram towels for a present that aren't your initials, but your girlfriend's, ex-boyfriend's. AT&T Prepaid is making gift-giving more than just okay. For a limited time, learn how to get AT&T Prepaid with unlimited data for $45 per month. AT&T may slow data speeds when the network is busy. Visit att.com/prepaid deals for offer details.
Requires activation and payment on $65 per month plan and auto-pay sign-up at sale. Other fees, charges, and restrictions apply.
Shit.
Hey, now, what's that smell? Just like cornbread done too well. What you need, you know I got. So hands up, who wants to rock?
Good evening, Metal Faithful. Welcome to a Radulich Broadcasting premier podcast, The Metal Hammer of Doom. I'm your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. And tonight is the night that we review DragonForce, Extreme Power Metal, the 8th studio album by British power metal band DragonForce, which was released on September 27th, 2019. It is the band's last studio album to feature longtime bassist Frederic Licorice. Longevity, Longitude.
Yep.
Earthworm Jim. I don't know. And, and the first not to feature longtime keyboardist Vadim. Why do I bother reading the names? Pruzhanov, who left the band in 2018. Epica keyboardist Colin Janssen recorded keyboards for the album while the band searched for a permanent replacement. The lead single, Highway to Oblivion, was released on July 30th, 2019. It was followed by Heart Demolition, Better Save Your Acts of Attrition, August 27th, 2019. And then finally Razorblade Meltdown, which is what happens whenever I try to shave myself. September 23rd, 2019. I am, of course, joined by the disapproving dad and the host of Source Material in his own right for this track-by-track review. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Jesse Starcher. How do you do, sir?
You want to get the wrestling reference out of the way? So I'm scrolling through Facebook, right?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, well, I'm friends with quite a few, local wrestlers and some guys that definitely are around the area.
Ooh, look at you, fancy.
Independent scene. So it's not like, me and Shane McMahon are fist bumping or anything like that.
But all the wrestlers, Shane McMahon's the one you came up with.
So there is this, I don't know if you've ever seen the clown meme as a guy dresses up as a clown, and there are a few statements that follow as he continues to dress up as the clown, right? So this guy says, I'm going to start off with 4 super kicks, hit a Canadian destroyer, followed by 3 dives, then a buckle bomb into a springboard cutter. Then you hit me with a small package for the 3. Well, you got to get your shit in sometime. We're getting our shit in tonight, buddy. We're doing some DragonForce, man.
DragonForce, of course, because no one can talk to a horse, of course.
That's right.
Was made popular by, everyone say it with me, mark it on your bingo card, Guitar Hero 3.
That's right.
Through the fire and flames, we carry on. It was the track that would play when you beat the thing on story level. Mm-hmm. And then it became a playable track. and that thing was nigh impossible on easy. On hard, I would imagine you would have to have played it with friends.
Yeah, you got like you have to grow a third arm or something.
Yeah,
that's all there is to it.
I mean, there were. I remember, like, for the longest time, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos of people playing Guitar Hero and Rock Band, and there were some that were just fucking savants.
Oh man,
I don't know how they did. Like, I don't. First of all, I got these little sausage fingers and caveman hands. These things are not meant for playing guitars, both of the toy and real variety.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, man. I don't know. First off, I'm left-handed, so I always pissed off my friends because I had to do the lefty flip every time when I grabbed it, and then we'd pass the guitar back, and they had to switch it over back to regular. And not only that, I'm the same way. I have very little finger dexterity. My wife don't complain, but I mean it works. Woo! Saucy. But yeah, it's so I remember beating the song, but after taking, I don't know, at least 20 tries to get there, and I was finally able to beat it, and that's on easy. There's no way I was jumping up to like another button in any fashion. That's not happening.
I could probably handle medium, maybe even hard on some of the easier songs like Sabotage or something. Some of the, like, Slow Ride. I could probably get up to hard on Slow Ride, because that's a pretty easy song. That's a lot of just one note over and over and over again. One press on the guitar. But Through the Fire and Flames, I couldn't get off it easy with that.
No way. And that inclusion on that game is, again, what brought me at least knowledge of this band existing.
Yes.
I had no idea. And we covered their last album.
We did.
Back on the old Blog Talk radio days, I believe.
2017, Reaching into Infinity.
Yeah, I do not remember anything from that album.
I remember it being kind of blah.
Yeah, well, it was DragonForce, and a couple of the reviews that I read here recently kind of said that this suffered from that. And I'm going to have to say, before we get into the album and each song, I disagree. I actually like quite a bit of this compared to what I remember from Reaching into Infinity. So
yeah, I feel like Reaching into Infinity was kind of a nondescript, just kind of, like I said, blah, just general album. And I was like, do you like DragonForce? Well, here's some DragonForce. And I feel like we did the review. I was like, okay, well, that was a review that we did. Moving on to the next thing. Mm-hmm. Like, it didn't stay with either of us. I don't know if I would say that about this one. I guess we'll find out, because I've given it a few listens, and we'll give it some more attention to detail now. But the jury's out on this one, I think. Okay. I think I like it more than the last one. I may not remember the last one really all that well. We'll start listening to some tracks here, and maybe we'll medley the end. Maybe we won't. I'll tell you how bored I am by the end.
And just, props to DragonForce for just naming their album a genre, which is fantastic.
It's just the height of laziness.
It's like, well, how about we just call it a genre? All right, what genre is this? Extreme power metal. There we go.
Yeah, I feel like they wanted to call it motor scooting through Ethiopia with a bucket of fried chicken, and someone was an adult and said no.
There were probably some editors and maybe some marketing team involved that said,
yeah,
not a good idea.
There were adults in the room that said, before we release this, we're not going to put that on the album. You have to change it.
How would society view this? Negatively?
Gosh. I feel like... Well, I think there were two choices for DragonForce's album name. One was Motor Scooting Through Ethiopia with a Bucket of Chicken.
Okay.
The other one was Girl Power Charlie's Angels. Neither worked out well.
Yeah, I could understand.
Well, I think the first one they test marketed and they said, we don't think men will buy the album, which is, of course, that sentiment would be anti-woman, and that's why the marketing team struck Girl Power Charlie's Angels. DragonForce, Girl Power Charlie's Angels.
Okay.
Just true story, by the way.
This is absolutely true.
Yes.
Saw it on the wiki.
So then they were like, well, what if we called it DragonForce motor scooting through Ethiopia with a bucket of chicken? Is that okay? They were like, feels like that would piss off at least 50% of the people on Twitter.
Which band member is suggesting this? He is a... he needs fired or just to keep his mouth shut.
I hear he has a podcast.
Oh, well, okay.
2 of them, as a matter of fact. One in which he answers questions, eventually.
Oh, boy.
And then another one where he hates on modern wrestling.
This guy sounds familiar. I had no idea Jim Cornette was part of DragonForce.
Oh, there's the joke.
Oh, wow.
Anyway.
He plays the tennis racket.
Yes, quite well, as a matter of fact. People listening to this going, I don't watch wrestling, you faggots. Just go already. Just review the album.
Do it.
Delete your YouTube. All right.
Was okay until the first 5 minutes was nothing but wrestling talk.
I used to like your show. You guys will shut up about wrestling.
People have never told us that they used to like our show. They got to first like it and then graduate to another episode.
Indeed. All right, enough screwing around here. It's time to get serious. Because we all know that DragonForce is a very serious band. Mm-hmm. Here we go. This is our first single that we're talking about here. This is Highway to Oblivion.
When the lights have turned to grey on the dawning final day, see the sun now fade away. Can we find the words to say? All the times we fought in vain, through the years and seasons change, but we all still feel the same as we stand before the world. To the turbo drive, hot wheels of fire and strong. Flash lightning fries the brain. On a course to no tomorrow, driving all of us insane. City lights laid out before us. Go for now your time has come. Now your time has come. In a flash of blue steel, to the far horizons, supersonic power on the wings of the dream. Down the road so far with nowhere to hide, like a star shooting right from the sky. So loud for no one ever look back now tonight. Faded down the red line, lost forever in space and time. Wild and hard, relentless surging wheels of fire over tonight. Let the cross and left behind, blasting on the speed of light, tearing up the highway to oblivion.
All right, well, that's DragonForce. Good night, everybody.
Oh man! I think it was a strong opener. As we know who DragonForce is, we expected nonetheless. They have brought the epic. They bring the shredding.
They bring the motherfucking ruckus.
That's right. The ruckus has been brought. I like the song. I think it's a good opener. It doesn't wear on me. It's not something. I mean, man, oh man, I'm really surprised because I've listened to this album quite a bit, and I'm looking at like the times of these first two songs, which are the longest on the album. It looks like this one was 6 minutes. This one was the longest on the album, 6 minutes and 48 seconds. For me, though, it doesn't seem like it. Well, I could tell you that it's funny because I'll be sitting there, I'll be like, man, are we only at the second song? But the thing is that it's not boring, even though there is a lot of the same DragonForce elements. For some reason, the Highway to Oblivion doesn't bore me as you thought it would be. I mean, near 7 minutes of shredding. They obviously make it varied enough to enjoy.
Yeah. It definitely has that epic power metal feel, where there's storytelling going on in the music craft, not just in the lyrics. It takes you on a journey.
Yes.
Someday love will find you. Anyway,
break those chains that bind you.
I said of AEW, I said they need to be a little. I don't know if you've heard our AEW Full Gear review that Chris Bailey and I did. But I told Chris Bailey that AEW needs to be a little less cattle decapitation and a little more journey. Guess who doesn't know what a cattle decapitation is?
Yeah, that'd be our good buddy from up north.
He was like, "What kind of fucking hell music do you listen to?"
You said this was Bailey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. Oh man.
But yes, they took you on a kind of musical journey there. So, sometimes these songs past the 5-minute mark start to wear on me. But this one was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, hey, every time I've started this album, Highway to Oblivion has always been a welcome listen to my ears. So I definitely don't hate Highway to Oblivion. I think it's fairly solid opener.
Indeed. All right. This next one is, for those of you who like the Glory Hammer, this is Cosmic Power of the Infinite Shred Machine. I dig that one. What a name, by the way. Cosmic Power of the Infinite Shred Machine.
Yeah, I really do like that. It is, again, following up Highway to Oblivion, and I think it's getting better as we go, even though we're only 2 tracks in. This one I like better than Highway to Oblivion, and I dig it.
This one had a little bit more room to it, had a little bit more balls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and right at the get-go, you have this kind of spacey, the spacey like techno kind of vibe, and then all of a sudden, You know, it just right in your face. There it goes. So, yeah, man, I still think they're going strong here. 2 tracks in. I know it's early, but you know, that one I really dug.
I know they use double bass drums in a lot of their music, but there was something about that one where I felt like the tone was a lot deeper, a lot bassier. Maybe it was the mixing. I don't know, but there was some I heard a distinct thud, 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 thud of the drums, which kept me very invested in the song.
Okay. I can feel you there.
All right. This next one comes straight out of Game of Thrones. This is called Last of the Dragonborn. The Last Dragonborn.
In a time where heroes rule the earth, the knights will fall to our river. On the bloody stones in the fields in white run lies. As sun sets now on Terriel, the wounds we find in time will heal. But the dragon soon will return from space and time. Long will be the journey through the coldest nights we ride. Where the horsemen slay them all, and the rains and men alive. Listen to our enchanted story written in the wind. When the hero comes tonight to claim the light. Fear the end is coming now. Hold the line, keep strong our ground. I'll feel the night stop watchmen. Steadfast tonight will crush them for the wasted journey to the end. See the soaring eagle fly. See the warriors fight and die. See the lightning crack the sky with the last dragon born. To the mountain we must go. Flash of steel will crush our foes. To the fires on down below with the last dragon born.
What I appreciate about that song is the typical DragonForce shtick is the you know those high pitched notes
Yeah.
played at like Mach speed, and they slowed this one down and gave us something a little bit different to sort of break up the tempo and tone of the typical DragonForce album, and this one has sort of a balladish quality to it as well. So. Is it the world's greatest song? No, but it's fine. And at least it's not the same DragonForce song over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think this one is my second favorite off the album.
Really?
Yeah, I really do like this, and I think a lot of that is because, just like you said, it's different than what we usually get. It's kind of got this, I would almost say, Oriental vibe to it. And Mark Radulich, I know you play some video games every once in a while, but this is actually based off of, or at least has reference to, the Elder Scrolls Skyrim video game.
I am aware of what a Skyrim is.
Okay, so Tamriel is mentioned in this song, which was one of the locales in that series, and the Dragonborn, of course, was...
Isn't that also where Starfire came from?
Starfire, no. Starfire came from something. Oh, I had it on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. It's
I thought
not
she was
Saul.
like Tamaranian or something like that. Pomeranian?
Tangerine.
Tangerine. The reflection. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sing it. Starfire is Oh, well, I had it here just for a second. She is a tamarin.
Ah, see?
And species is Tamaranian. Very good, Mark.
Yeah, I remember stuff.
You do. So, yes, Tamriel, Dragonborn. So, yeah, I imagine this is probably, if you go through the lyrics, you could probably pick out a few other things that reference the Skyrim series, which is a very fun game, by the way. And I played it for so many hours and never beat it. But anyway, yeah, I dig the song. I don't know if it's Spotify or if it's the way they mix this, but when you were listening to this, and I don't know if you were listening to it close enough, but did you hear like the volume increase on this song?
Maybe. You might be right about that. I honestly...
Okay, if you didn't hear
we
it.
only got 2 minutes and 17 seconds into a 6-minute song, so if I go back and listen to it again, I'd probably see what you were talking about.
No, what I'm saying is like from track 2 to track 3. Track 2 is at a certain volume, and then track 3 all of a sudden goes up like, I don't know, three instances in the volume or whatever. But you could tell like that song was louder than the others. Now, that was on the day of release, and then I've noticed it for like a week or so after that. And right now we're almost 2 months after its release. So I don't know if they fixed it, but I haven't noticed it a whole lot here recently. So maybe it was just a Spotify thing. But either way, Last Dragonborn, thumbs up for me. I think we're still going strong, man.
All right, let's move on to our next one. This is Heart Demolition. Better save your acts of attrition.
Sometimes I wonder if love has a meaning. Feels like the sadness won't end. Sometimes I wonder, why do we try? We're looking for answers in vain. Every step I'm taking led me closer to the edge. And I'm falling, and there's nowhere to return. Stand mistreated by your words and by your promises. The lies were ephemeral, but the truth will fade away. I don't know if I'll find the courage to be free again. The sun goes after rain. Live it up. The struggle has been real, but now, I've gotta break these chains. So what is it? A victim of love thrown through my heart. Why don't you let me go? Don't wanna be a victim of love. I've done it times before. I won't get fooled again and again.
There's a maturity on this album that I don't think was there in the album prior, at the very least. And
Okay.
as I remember the first 3 DragonForce albums, where they felt, and I remember seeing DragonForce live with my wife, and what I remember that show distinctly because my wife could not stop laughing at DragonForce.
I remember this story.
They had a wind machine on stage, and the guy kept like flipping his hair. And my wife, that's all she would do the whole show. She just would turn to me and do like run her hair back through her hands back through her hair, and and blow it out. She was like,
That's great.
She was like, I don't care for this music, but boy, do I have hair envy of these guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like their early stuff is very gimmicky. Like they were fashioning an identity for themselves that sort of peaks through the Fire and Flame, and then after that, it's like it's kind of more DragonForce. What I liked about extreme power metal is even in these first 4 songs, there's a maturity in the songwriting and songcraft that just I don't think was there in the previous albums. Mm-hmm. Like that Heart Demolition one doesn't sound like the typical DragonForce song, but it rocks and it has some. It definitely has some oomph to it. It's layered. It's it sounds like it doesn't just sound like a progressive metal song. It sounds like a good, it sounds like a good hearty rock tune.
Yeah, layered is a great word to use for that one, and it is metal. There is a build up there at the beginning that honestly seals it as my favorite song off this album because it kind of, it starts off. I say slow, but it's slow enough, but it builds and builds and builds. And then all of a sudden it just like, you could tell just in that little piece that you played, that happens a couple times throughout the song where it builds and all of a sudden it's just heavy and in your face and really fast paced. And I'd say if you look at the lyrics themselves, you could see a little bit of maturity there as well. I mean, this is them talking about getting their heart broken, not just broken, sir, demolished.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, that's horrible. He doesn't want to be another victim of love.
Here comes the axe. Here comes the smasher, the Heart Demolition, walking disaster.
Oh man, but yeah, I really do like that one, and I think it is my top song off of here. And it's so funny because I think that this album is very top heavy because after this, the songs are decent, but nothing tops for me the first 4 songs off of here. Our next one we get is interesting, and we'll talk about that when we hit it. But yeah, I mean, Heart Demolition, man, I think it's unfortunately all downhill from here, but it's not like a real steep slope.
All right, let's go ahead and listen to Troopers of the Stars. And when we come back, we'll see what the rest of the metal world thinks of this album.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Troopers of the Stars. Yeah, they wrote that one for the pure DragonForce fans.
Well, get this, sir. This is actually referencing and you may have seen the movie. You've seen the movie Starship Troopers?
Yeah, it's a pile of dog shit by science fiction writer extraordinaire Robert Heinlein.
All right, then. That is a cult classic from what I understand, sir. A lot of people...
Does cult classic mean it was a pile of shit that people watch to laugh at?
Anyway.
Hot garbage. Check it and see. Got a fever of 103. Come on, baby, you can do more than dance. Hot-blooded, hot garbage. Sorry.
Nice. But you can find a Wikipedia article, Roughneck Starship Troopers Chronicles is a CGI animated television series.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, based on the novel of Robert A. Heinlein and the 1997 film adaptation. Now, this, I think he yells this at the beginning, It follows the exploits of the mobile infantry squad, Razak's Roughnecks. So I think he yells Razak's Roughnecks Roar at the beginning of this song. But anyway, Starship Troopers has quite a following, Mark. I know you're not apparently a big fan of it. I've never seen it, but I know of quite a few people who actually dig it quite a bit.
Okay, those people watched it while they were high.
I cannot comment. I cannot comment. Can we? You want to go to Rotten Tomatoes real quick? We'll take a look.
Sure.
Where do you go? Where do you go to check out the better spell Troopers, right? Where do you go to check out?
Are you doing it or am I doing this?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay, you do it because this is liable to lock up my computer.
Yeah, don't beach ball it, baby. We gotta Rotten Tomatoes right now. Starship Troopers Rotten Tomatoes 1997. Right now, sitting at a tomato meter of 63% from the critics, I guess. Audience score 70%.
Lunacy.
Hey, not everybody's a film critic, Mark Radulich.
Look, how dare you, men, with your penises and your pheromones, not go see Elizabeth Banks' Charlie's Angels movies, but you see hot garbage, misogynist hot garbage like Starship Troopers. How dare you? How dare you? I am the Lorax. I am the Lorax, and I speak for the vaginas.
Charlie's Angels coming in at 57% by the critics and 80% audience score. Yeah.
Which one?
Which audience?
No.
Is that what you're asking?
Which Charlie's Angels?
Oh, no, we're looking at 2019.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so audience score out of 1,346 ratings, every single one of them female. I don't understand.
If you can get past the obvious feminist agenda in the movie, it actually wasn't that bad.
How obvious? Well, you've done a review on it, haven't you?
No, Robert Winfrey absolutely refused to see the movie.
Oh, okay.
That's how we ended up reviewing Ford versus Ferrari. But in our money section, we had a long, in-depth discussion about why men are terrible and won't go see movies with clearly feminist agendas.
I noticed that fucking episode was 2 hours and 25 minutes long.
Hint, it's not 2 hours and 20 minutes of talking about Ford versus Ferrari. There was a lot of discussion about Charlie's Angels and The Good Liar.
My first thing was like, oh, these guys got on something. 2 hours and 25 minutes. That is not normal.
I mean, when we have like somebody else on the show, yeah. I mean, the Joker went 3 hours. We went.
Did it really?
Yeah. When we went on, we had a long discussion about.
Well, that one deserved it though, because there was a lot of. I can't think of the socio-political issues that Charlie's Angels had to say. I mean, I guess maybe it did if it was that big of a feminist agenda.
That's not what the discussion was. The discussion was Elizabeth Banks' reaction to nobody seeing the movie.
Ah, okay.
So the story of it went that Sony greenlit a lot of female positive, forward, feminist movies all around the same time, which came out at varying times. It started with Ghostbusters, which was a disaster. And a bunch of other stuff got greenlit around that time, one of which was this Charlie's Angels project, which apparently the script was so goddamn bad that they couldn't get, like, good actresses like Margot Robbie or Emma Stone, who I think they offered it to, and they were like, nah. Emma Stone's like, I'm going to go shoot zombies. Margot Robbie's like, I'm going to be in this Fox picture, and I'm Harley Quinn, bitches.
Feel my wrath.
Yeah. Jennifer, what's her face, who was Mystique, she didn't want to do it either. So what they got left with were the chick from Aladdin who sings a solo song in A Fever Dream. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's the stupidest thing ever. Some British.
She sings a solo song in the movie.
Yeah, they gave Jasmine. Oh, you haven't heard our Aladdin review?
Oh, I thought you were talking about Charlie's Angels. No. Okay, all right, got it.
Okay. So, yeah, they gave the chick who plays Aladdin, like, her own, like, they put a new song in there which is literally called "I Will Not Be Silenced."
Yep.
Giant eye roll from the entire audience, except for
Yep.
even
I
my
watched
daughter.
it.
Even my daughter was like, "Meh."
Hey, this is obvious even for me, and I'm a fourth grader.
Yeah. Anyway, we're off track here. So we were talking about Starship Troopers relative to that.
Oh,
song, yeah?
okay. Yeah, that wiki rabbit hole, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome
Rotten
to it.
Tomatoes. Yeah. All right. So
Starship Troopers is garbage, by the way.
Yeah, I heard you the first time.
Goddamn motherfucker.
Somebody get Cornette to a drive-through right now.
I wanted to do another Jim Cornette-ism, but I was just like, let me just stop.
Yeah, oh, jeez.
Hang on. Let me just stop right now. There she blows.
All right. Dead horse has been beaten.
Yes. All right. I asked you, goddammit, not to give me your damn movie reviews of shit movies from the late 90s, but rather, Jesse Starcher.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Tell me about what the music world thinks of extreme power metal.
Well, let me hop over here because I was just looking at...
Porn?
No. I usually not while on the podcast, Mark. Don't know you well enough yet. I
don't see why you can't multitask, but go on.
Here we go. Maximum Volume gave it 8.5 out of 10. It says extreme power metal, you'll love it or you'll hate it, and there won't be any in between. That's a great review.
You're really going to like it, or you're not?
Yeah, or you're not.
Ka-ching!
All right.
Great.
There was this MetalWani.com gave this a 10 out of 10.
All right. Calm the fuck down, dude.
Wow. Songwriting and lyrics, 10. Overall sound, 10. Let's just fast forward to the...
I mean, Jesus Christ, this is no Rumahoy.
Are we okay.
We love you, Captain Yarface.
Yes, we do. I mean, okay. I guess in support of that, you have to look at, number one, the technicality, which is undoubtedly there. These guys can play their instruments.
I mean, there's no cattle decapitation.
And number two, I mean, if we're going to compare, we just kind of gave them some kudos on their lyrical writing here. So they're writing songs that actually feel like they mean something. And granted, they tie into some things. Maybe shit movies, maybe not. I don't know. But they, to me, I've paid attention to each one of these songs and listened to the lyrics and was curious about them. So that's a plus as well.
All right, we need to contact Chris Bailey. We need to tell him the next Superblog team up needs to somehow allow us to do a commentary for Starship Troopers.
I don't know how we're going to do that, but I'm sure we could figure out some way.
I mean, look, we somehow managed to fit Jupiter Ascending into Immortal.
Yeah, that's really... Boy, that was pushing that.
No, it wasn't. The movie was about
Immortality.
Immortality. It was exactly what the Doctor ordered. So, listen, you need to find out what the next theme for the Superblog team-up is, and then we need to somehow jury-rig Starship Troopers into it.
Okay.
Because I'm not accepting that you won't listen to me and understand that Starship Troopers is hot garbage.
Distorted Sound Mag gave it a 7 out of 10. Same thing with Metal Injection gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, don't pay any attention to me. Now you're understanding how this goes.
I've learned my... So, Sonic Perspectives gives it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Pretty fair review. I mean, nothing 5 or below.
I think 8 out of 10 is right. I think 10 out of 10 is a bridge too far.
Oh, yeah. Man, I don't know. There's if it was 10 out of 10, every single song off this album would have to be something that I would be engaged with, and I'm not. So I will agree with you there. It's technically sound. There's a lot of good stuff on here, but I'm definitely engaged in the first 4 songs, and then after that, I take it or leave it. It's not mad, but it's more like, okay, well, I think we talked about Countdown to Infinity or whatever, Reaching into Infinity or Infinity and Beyond, whatever the hell the name of that last album was. We were talking about sameness probably about 5 songs in.
Yeah.
Troopers of the Stars is unique enough to where I recognized it as being, tied to a movie, and it's a neat. It was neat. It was heavy, so it's varied enough for me to go, okay, I'm still digging this album. But 10 out of 10, I agree with you. Maybe we should. I don't think it could be.
We're 5 songs in, and I don't feel the need to talk about my kids.
Well, that's good.
So on the Radulich meter, 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Sputnik is giving it a 2.5 right now.
Out of 5?
Out of 5. Yeah. At the user ratings, 52 user ratings have most of it around 3. Yeah. So and now, granted, okay, so this review is by a single person. So, yeah, I go by the user ratings, which would be 3. 3 out of 5. I'd probably give it a little bit higher, but either way.
All right.
So far, so good.
Let's go ahead and move on to the B side of this album. This is a Razorblade Meltdown. Blew that one. All right. Razorblade Meltdown's okay.
Yeah, I was there with you. I remember going, this one's, it's...
This one sounds like a DragonForce song.
Yeah, I'm trying to read into the lyrics just to try and figure out what exactly is going on in the song. It sounds like it's a pretty sad song. This guy is speaking in Finnish at a couple times through here, and one of which is, from what I saw, a little bit of profanity, apparently. I Santana Vitusian Vitu, which I looked up like something similar to that, and it was fuck this shit. So, okay, there you go. That's my inside look at Razorblade Meltdown. I would have liked to have watched the video just to see if the cartoon really gave us any idea. It was an animated video, so I didn't watch it though. But it looks like, just from what I saw on the still, it looked like it was just them kind of at a concert. Well, can you imagine that, Mark? That of all the fucking things they could do, they do what we always cry about on the Metal Hammer of Doom Extra, and they fucking animate it. It's like, nice. Hey, yeah, we're just going to do a concert, but it's going to be animated. Can you get... jeez.
It's funny. All right, let's move on.
Moving on.
Right on. This next one is called Strangers in the Night. No, it's just Strangers.
lost and far away from home. Deep inside I got a burning fire, no one here to set me free. Wasting time, I've been longing for more, but we were strangers in a city burning, strangers in the night. Danger, can you hear it calling? Time and time again I have to understand the reason why. Raise my hands up to the sky, hide away my tears. Hold on to my dreams.
So this is why I can't give this album a 10.
Yeah. See, I said that there's a drop off after Heart Demolition. Troopers
Yeah.
of the Stars almost keeps you there, and then all of a sudden Razorblade Meltdown and Strangers hit. And while they're technically sound song, it's definitely, kind of have that power metal feel or that hair metal feel a little bit. But man, Strangers couldn't. I wasn't impressed, but it's still, as far as the album goes itself, I still let it play and I don't get bored with it. How's that?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't want to get too harsh on this and go crazy because none of these songs are bad. None of these songs are like, heavy eye roll for me. But like that last one, I took the opportunity to like check my phone real quick, and
it's good. It's good phone checking music.
yeah, it's good driving my kid home from school music.
That might be why I really don't mind listening to it while I'm at work, because it's something I can do and not pay a whole lot of attention to, but be entertained. My brain will be entertained for whatever.
We talked about Ramahoy last week, and it was one of those where if I missed stuff if I didn't pay attention to it. If it was background noise, I missed entire sections of that album that were very important to listen to what was happening.
Yep.
Like it took me 2 tries to get Stolen Treasure and realize what it was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This one I could put it on in the background and it's like, I'm not really missing anything.
Yeah, this is about some star-crossed lovers, is my assumption here. Strangers in the night. Mark, would you like to hear Kerrang's review for this? Because it's, oh boy, you ready? I think it's probably good enough to jump in here and do this real quick, since this album, at song number 7, we're giving a little bit of criticism. But here's Kerrang. Get ready for cheese. It's time for the biennial DragonForce album. If generic, speedy power metal songwriting packed with contrived, sugary melodies is your idea of excitement, then you're in for a wild ride. At its best, extreme power metal is a showcase of Herman Lee and Sam Topman's ability to play astonishingly fast, packing in nonsensical solos at seemingly every turn. At its worst, this is a desperate display of a band trying to harken back to their Guitar Hero glory days of 10 years ago. If at around the 49-minute mark you're not already wishing the album would fall into the abyss in oblivion, repetitively motioned in the lyrics, then a frankly unnecessary cover of Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On, well, we'll get to that on rearing its ugly head, should finish the job. DragonForce could have redeemed themselves if this record were forgettable. However, it leaves an awful lasting impression that will stick around to trouble you long after it's finished. Verdict, 1 out of 5. Oh man, that's
okay.
rough.
The author of that review, did someone hurt you? Were you not on a party list somewhere and you're taking it out on DragonForce? What the fuck?
Words, Angela Davey.
Oh, it's a chick who wrote that?
Hey, I'm not making any judgments here. She sounds like a girl's name to me.
Angela Davies?
Angela Davey. She says DragonForce unleash extreme cheese on extreme power metal. I think we mentioned the word cheese on the last album.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm feeling a whole lot of cheese on this one.
Okay.
Maybe.
So we talk about this on Damn You Hollywood all the time when it comes to reviews, that some of these reviews feel like they're written by people who didn't want to see the movie in the first place. This feels like an assignment by Kerrang that she got that she didn't want. Because there's no way in an objective review, this should be less than 2.5 stars. Out of 5.
Yeah, you could look at what they were giving us in The Last Dragonborn or Heart Demolition, my 2 favorite off of here, and just go, okay, well, they're trying and they're actually doing a decent job.
Right. Like,
so,
a 1 out of 5 is there's a general incompetence. From this broad, it just sounds like sour grapes.
I agree.
Which she uses to make the wine that she drinks when she wrote this.
Because women like wine.
Yeah, Get in the kitchen to make sandwiches, you bitches.
Oh,
all right. I am not listening to your podcast anymore, sir.
You're trying to cornet yourself.
Somebody is inevitably going to leave a comment now. Like, I was okay with it until you made the comment about women, you hater, you misogynist.
Podcasted yourself into a cornet corner.
Goddamn motherfucking cheeseburger.
Damn it.
Here, I got a burger towel for you. It's in my shorts.
Oh my.
Did I tell you all last week that's all I told people where things were at work? They would ask me questions or ask me to deal with something, and I was like, I got your solution. It's right here in my shorts.
Oh, jeez. Have you got a strongly worded letter yet?
Nope. Oh, the deputies love it when I abuse them. It's great.
Probably give them plenty of stories to tell.
Sure. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
This next one is called In a Skyforged Dream. All right, I actually like that one. I thought that had a pretty cool. There was some change right in the beginning of it where they would play one way and then they would switch to something different and go right back in there. There was a lot of alternating between two distinctly different changes in rhythm, which I was enjoying. So, pretty good song.
Mark Hudson, lead vocalist, is, my gosh, dude. This guy can belt out the high notes. Some of it's amazing to me when you hear it. Just how incredibly high on the register he can get. Found something interesting on the Wikipedia here when they were talking about
Angela Davies' address.
No, I'm not going to be looking that up anytime soon. Leave that. Robert Winfrey could go hit people with fish. I'm gonna stand right here in the old basement. So this is interesting. Musical style, okay. The band often pays homage to this influence. Video game music. Influence of video game music in their videos. Although the band has frequently referred to their style as power metal, Lee commented on descriptions of the band style in an interview with Guitar World. In quotes, Nintendo metal, extreme power metal, folks. Bon Jovi on speed, Journey meets Slayer. People are always coming up with weird labels for us. So I clicked on the little footnote, and the issue of Guitar World, or the article, which was titled Hotter Than Hell, came out in 2006. So the name for this album was, well, I wonder when the genre got coined. Either way, it's funny that they kind of mentioned that in 2006, and here we are 13 years later, and they have an album named after the genre that they were in back then. So
I think it's also like a sign of the times. Like, we're so consumed with compartmentalizing and labeling. They're like, do we have like a theme, something like, no, just call it extreme power metal. For God's sakes, we don't want to offend anyone.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I don't know, man. They might have been struggling and just said, screw it, we'll just call it a genre. Mm-hmm. Of course, we had that discussion earlier and how the meetings went.
All right, last proper song, and then we've got our cover. Ooh, doggy. This one is called Remembrance Day.
Fallen souls in fields of fire, eternal hearts of fire. Rows and rows of endless ghosts, their memories inspire. Dreams of glory, dreams of war, a generation die. Through the trenches, hear their songs and wear their badge with pride. Stand up and fight, march at first light. Into the great battle we ride. Onwards tonight, wait for the strike. Brothers in arms we unite. Guardians of heaven, in the night skies together. Remembered forever, through the centuries of time. Honor and glory, we salute you, the fallen. United we stand, the hearts of great men will raise up and fight for the heroes lost in time.
All right, yeah, that was good. Different approach to a DragonForce song.
Yeah, it's clearly a tribute to people who had fallen in the wars and in fights that they've been in. Battles. That's the best word, not fights, because there's a lot of people that die in fights that doesn't happen to be in battles. But yeah, so it's a good one. I actually kind of like that one. It's catchy too. I think if there's going to be an earworm that kind of gets stuck in your head, it might be Remembrance Day, and it may just be because it's titled Remembrance Day. Get it, Mark? Because you won't forget it. It's Remembrance Day.
It's great.
Hey, yes, it is.
All right, let's do our last one here and then get on down.
Get on down.
This is by originally by Celine Dion. This is My Heart Will Go On from the movie Titanic. Well, that was better than the Starship Troopers movie.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, made probably a shit ton more money.
Starship Troopers?
No, Titanic.
Oh. Not entirely sure what your point is.
Well, I was kind of supporting your argument there, Mark. They made a lot more money than Starship Troopers. Tell me about the cover. You're Mr. Cover, Mark. What'd you think of this cover?
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
They did, they did a lot. They seemed like they had a lot of fun with that one.
This is a song that I had to make sure that the ladies at work listened to. I said, hey, so I've got a metal band, because the topic of Celine Dion came up, and they were talking, oh, I love Celine Dion, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, hey, I have got a cover for you to listen to. And then what was funny was I hadn't heard it yet, but I knew it existed because I think you shared it.
Yeah.
And so I started out, and we have that chiptune 8-bit stuff happening at the beginning. And I was like, oh, man, this is not good. I thought they were just going to do a chiptune cover for some reason and stick it at the end of the album as a gag. But it obviously turned right into some kick-ass DragonForce metal. And it really is a good cover. I mean, I am by far impressed at how you speed that song up. You think there would be something maybe lost in it, and there's nothing lost. It's actually very decent.
Yeah, no, I had a good time with that one. So, overall, like I said, half of the album is very strong. The other half kind of oscillates between meh and meh. That's good.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's nice.
He's nice.
He's nice.
But might be too big.
Might be. So overall, I would say this gets a solid B- B for me.
Oh, B-. Oh my, Mark.
Yeah. I have a tendency to overgrade. I'm trying to correct
I can
that.
tell. You're trying to correct that. Don't overcompensate it, though, by going too far negative.
All right, let's give it a solid B. How's that?
I like that. Like that. It's the best DragonForce album I've heard in a while.
Sure.
I think the last one I listened to was the previous album, and I don't know if I checked out any before that or not. But, I'm right there with you, man. This album is front heavy. Then it kind of just drops down to where
it's front heavy and cocksure.
Cocksure. So, I love the closer, and it seems like I guess that's the thing nowadays. Metal bands just are like, hey, let's throw a cover, and we throw that cover there at the end.
That's not a these days thing. That's as old as fucking time.
As old as fucking time. All right, Mark Radulich.
Old as fucking time.
He does know better than I. So maybe I've just started to pay attention to it.
That seems like it would be more better or correct.
More better or correct.
More better or correct, sir.
All right, I like it. But anyway, yeah, I this is probably going to easily make the top half for me because I can listen to this album quite a bit on repeat with no problems, and there's some strong stuff in here. So at the end of the year, most likely this will make the top half of the albums of the year. As to where it's going to land in the top half, I don't think it's breaking top 10 unless there's some really bad stuff to pick from. And I think we've definitely got 10 albums this year so far that are, they're good. They're good. That's it, Mark. I think I enjoyed listening to some DragonForce for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, no complaints really from me, except for maybe that broad from Kerrang. Her opinion sucks. Get better women writers. How about that, Kerrang? So unfair. That's unfair of me. I'm judging I'm judging an entire group of writers of a specific gender by this one twat.
Oh.
And I'm even judging her too harshly based on one review, which is wrong.
Ouch.
Her opinion is wrong.
Okay. So I've heard. Yep. All right.
All right. So here's the calendar for the rest of the year. Next week, the night before Thanksgiving, it's our annual turkey show. This year, we're doing something a little bit different. For a variety of reasons, we are going to look at one of the seminal rap albums. Do you know who doesn't know who the Wu-Tang Clan are? Robert Winfrey.
Robert Bull.
No
Bull,
fucking clue.
No, there's
He
no
had
way. He's playing you.
He had no clue who the Wu-Tang Clan was, as many times as I've referenced it.
Come on.
And then I read to him who was in the Wu-Tang Clan, and he was like, I've heard of Method Man.
Wow.
Yeah. I must have called him every every Caucasian slur I could think of.
Doesn't get any whiter than people out there in a town called Salt Lake City.
That's not even where he's from. He's an hour outside of Salt Lake. He's from like some other white bread fucking
It's still
Mormon
white,
city.
Mark. Salt is still white.
It's true. Yeah, he is whiter than Wonder Bread, that boy. But anyway, next week we're gonna bring the motherfucking ruckus right here to the Metal Hammer of Doom, Wu-Tang Clan. Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers.
Takao. That isn't on that album, but I don't think.
And then Jesse is gonna bring the motherfucking ruckus December 4th. We've got Rings of Saturn. Get them while they're hot.
Ooh, get him, jit him.
Get them, jit 'em. And then we got Life of Agony, The Sound of Scars. Oh, it's scars!
Is that what the Sound of Scars sounds like?
Oh, keloids. Anyway, you know what those are?
I've heard of
keloids. Yeah. All right, moving on. January 1st, New Year's Day. Oh, it's a New Year's Day. We're going to do our year-end special. We haven't figured out how we're going to do this year. Are we doing all new stuff that we just never got to? Or you like for some odd reason to revisit the stuff we've already talked about. I'm like, nope, burn down the historical village and build a car park.
Yeah, well, you do your thing, and I'll probably do mine, where I'll just be like, okay, well, here. The main thing I want to get out of this is talking about, I want to get your top tracks, and then I'll get, top tracks. We'll rate our albums, and then maybe we'll conglomerate or congeal our ratings and figure out who's number one and who's number whatever.
Can we talk about the spreadsheet you lost and never found?
You mean the spreadsheet I'm going to have to create again?
Yeah, that one.
That one, yeah. I think what will happen is I'll give you a list of albums and tell you to rate them, and you'll go down 1 through 30, 40, however many we got, and you'll toss them in a rating system, and then I'll do mine, and then we'll just put them together. And I'm going to make you work for it, Mark.
Let me tell you a little something about me. I was never good at doing homework.
I know. I know that.
We're going to kick off January after our year-end special, January 8th, of Pat Mullen on the show, maybe, kind of, sort of, hopefully. And we'll do some 80s Kiss. We'll do it whether or not he shows up, but the whole thing was he proposed the show. So I saved that for him.
80s Kiss. That's a band in an era, the era of that band I know nothing about, pretty much.
We're going to take a week off because I've got a lot of stuff to do the following week in terms of podcasts. We've got a TV party for The Mandalorian and a Damn You Hollywood for 1917. So we're going to take a week off from that, but we'll kick things off proper with 2 albums that are dropping on the same day, January 10th. We're going to get to Mystic Prophecy, Metal Division. It's going to be hot stuff, baby. Remember that?
I do remember that. Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, Mystic Prophecy, January 22nd. And then Poppy. Have you learned anything about Poppy yet? Have you asked your kids about the Poppy?
No.
Well, I disagree, and so does Poppy. That's the name of the album, see?
I
disagree.
see.
Get it? Yeah.
Oh, Poppy not looking too healthy here. Is that the right Poppy? Oh, no.
So Poppy, who showed up on NXT a couple of weeks ago, she's got an album dropping. It's kind of a pop metal fusion kind of thing. We all know how I like my pop metal fusion. So
that's what I'm seeing. Okay.
We'll review I Disagree on January 29th. And then I know Jesse is going to be excited about this. We got Lordy. Oh, Lordy.
Oh, wow.
Collection.
Man, the last album pushed boundaries for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have this single that just dropped, which is Shake the Baby Until It's Silent. Oh, my gosh.
Yep. Fun stuff.
Collection.
And then we got Sepultura, Quadra. And then just put on the calendar, Hollywood Undead, New Empire, Volume 1.
I think I've heard one of the new songs off of that, or at least a single there, and it's actually not too bad.
So that's what I got on the calendar as of right now. In the meantime, in between time, We've got, just dropped today, the new She-Ra Season 4. Ford versus Ferrari, plus a discussion of Charlie's Angels and why nobody went to go see The Good Liar, and and how movies and television have changed in the past 20 years rather rapidly. So all that's and yet another trashing of the critics on our review of Ford versus Ferrari. Source material: Jesse and Gavin talk Da Boys. That's right. Name of the game. Dun, 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 dun. That's the name of the game. And then you and I are back again tomorrow with more Jim Cornettisms. We'll be doing a TV party for The Boys Season 1.
That's going to be fun, man.
Saturday night. Saturday's all right for fights. Not for Jesse. He don't like that sort of thing. But
Savages.
All right, take it easy. We've got Deontay Wilder versus Luis Ortiz 2. Myself and Robert Winfrey will be covering that. Next week, we've got the first of our semi-monthly, weekly installment of the long-range trip through the history of heavyweight boxing with myself and Pat. I don't know how this is going to go. We're going to give this a shot. So, part 1 will be recorded on November 25th. We've got Wu-Tang and American Saga, the Survivor Series weekend on the 26th. Wu-Tang, Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers on the 27th. And that takes us to the end of November. Saturday, November 30th, there's a couple of different boxing cards. Hopefully we'll have John Warr back from Boxing and Brews to do one of those cards. I might even hornswoggle Robert Winfrey into doing a different one. Maybe we'll have two. We'll have two exciting boxing cards to do coverage for right here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. Because the shit don't stop. We don't quit. Jesse Starcher.
That is right, sir.
Mark Radulich, the hardest working man in podcasts. That's what I want to. That's what I want to put on my tombstone. Well, that and motocrossing across Ethiopia with a bucket of chicken.
How about we just draw a picture of that one? Put it on the back.
The hardest working man in podcast on the front of my tombstone, and on the back just a dude with a bucket of chicken.
A bunch of people with skin and bones just kind of watching him, mouths agape.
On Twitter. Just furiously tweeting.
Okay, all right. Yep, we could do that too.
Sure.
Well.
All right, do we think we have any listeners left?
Impeachment hearings are going on currently. I can't think of how much entertainment I had sitting at the dentist office today watching the impeachment hearings while I continue to get my teeth cleaned. It was a lot of fun.
Trump is going to get reelected. I hope you're ready.
Oh, hey, I'm ready, man. I'm ready for Freddie and Abel for Mabel. So let's talk about source material and the comics podcast there that I do right here on the Radulich in Broadcasting Network. We had some fun talking to Gavin Napier, who he tells us there on the podcast. He is a pastor, and he talked about one of the most violent books I've ever talked about. Depraved would even be a good word to describe it. On the podcast where we talked about The Boys. So that was a fun time. I have a chance to guest over on the let me try and remember, Resurrections and Adam Warlock and Thanos podcast. It hasn't aired yet, but you will be hearing me in the Friends and Enemies section of one of the recent books that they're going to be releasing. And me and Al Sedano planned on trying to keep it brief, because that's usually what he tries to do, and it ended up being an hour and 45 minutes long. So it was a lot of fun, though. We had a good time talking some comics over there. And, hey, I got a few things out there on the old Patreon. If you're interested in checking out some extra content, we got some stuff that ties in with source material. And I recently dropped the Wiki Rabbit Hole, which is easily digestible at like a little over 10 minutes, where I talked about Garth Ennis and ended up with Howard the Duck. It was a fun concept. If you want to learn more about it, check it out there. Just click on it. You can listen to it at 2-speed. That's only 5 minutes, Mark.
Hey,
I
Jesse.
listen to all my stuff 2-speed. Go ahead.
Hey, Jesse. Oh,
Hey,
Jesse.
Hello, Mark.
Guess what I got an email for today?
Let me guess. You, my friend, and I are on Deezer.
Yes. How did you know?
I'm not saying you sent me a message or tweeted me today or anything like that, telling me about it.
Oh, okay. I honestly forgot I did.
You forgot you tagged me in that.
Oh,
hey,
that's
we're
right.
on Deezer.
Yeah.
That's Snarky. Oh, okay.
Oh, shit. That's right. I did put you in that tweet. Yes, we're on. We got our approval. We are finally on Deezer. The Radulich and Broadcasting Network is conquering all podcast platforms everywhere. We have an army of angry trolls just waiting to sack your podcast app.
That's right. We're on this thing now, and in 2 weeks, Deezer's going to send you a letter saying we're sorry for the inconvenience.
We have made an egregious error.
We are shutting down the whole thing, not just your podcast, but our actual app. You guys broke it, just like
man. Most of our listeners come from Spotify, and they haven't kicked us off of that yet. So
that's true. That's true. What was the one that we? Oh my goodness, Podcoin. Yeah.
Podcoin was the one where I still think Chris Sheehan is right, and he broke it.
Ah, way to go. Keep Chris off of Deezer then.
Yeah, I'm not telling Chris about no Deezer.
Don't let him know. All right, I'm out of here. Let's go, Mark.
All right. For those of you who tolerated this podcast, we appreciate you. We truly, truly do. For those of you that enjoyed it, thank you very much, you sick motherfuckers. For Jesse Starcher, I'm Mark Radulich. Be well, be safe, and behave.
Buckle up, because Metro is bringing you the best deal in wireless. Switch to Metro and get your choice of 2 awesome free phones from top brands like Samsung and LG with huge HD screens and tons of memory for all your pics and videos. So hurry into Metro and get your awesome free phones only at Metro. Plus sales tax and activation fee. Requires port-in of eligible number not currently active on T-Mobile network or active on Metro in past 90 days. Limit 4 per account or household. Restrictions apply. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Is your cell phone bill out of control? Then this is your wake-up call. The new TracFone Wireless gives you unlimited talk and text starting at $20 a month, no contract, plus unlimited carryover data with active service. Yep, the new TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.